Greetings everybody, and thank you all for joining us on another episode of Let's Get High on Myth. This is our 6th episode titled Medusa, a victim or a monster. I'm sure you all heard of Medusa. It's one of the most popular stories in Greek mythology. We know her as this monstrous woman who has venomous snakes as hair and a weird ability to turn anybody who looks into her eyes into a stone. But what if I told you we have been told this story wrong? She's actually a victim. You wouldn't believe me, but I will explain myself. Let's start with the beginning. So Medusa is actually a daughter of two sea deities, Ceto and Phorcys. These two had 3 daughters known as the Gorgons. Medusa was the only one between the 3 sisters who was mortal. That's a start. She was mortal, and she looked like a human. She was actually a very beautiful woman. Her 2 other sisters were monsters since birth. Medusa worked as a priestess for Athena. She was happy with her job and doing nothing. Like I said, she was really beautiful. So one day, Poseidon, the god of the sea, horses, and earthquakes, took interest in her and wanted her for himself. Medusa wanted nothing to do with him. She wasn't interested, but Poseidon didn't take no as an answer, and he ended up raping the poor thing. When Athena found out about this, she was not happy. But what's weird about it, she punished Medusa instead of Poseidon. She cursed the poor Medusa, turning her into the monster we know her as, turning her into a woman with hair like snakes and the ability to turn anybody who looked into her eyes into a stone. So like this, no man will dare to look at her or even want her. Not only that, but Medusa was kicked out as well and ended up living in a cave far away from everybody. You would think this is the end for the poor Medusa. She should have a calm life from now, but let me tell you, it wasn't the story. For this, let's travel back in time and place to a city named Argos. This city had a king named Archesius. One day, the king thought to himself, well, I feel like I want to see the oracle today, to ask her what the future is hiding for me. But what the oracle told him didn't really give pleasure to him or made him happy, actually made him very upset. The oracle told him that he was destined to be killed by his grandson. Archesius had one daughter, Dani, so he thought to himself, I'm just going to lock her up in a tower so she won't get pregnant in the future. And that's exactly what she did. He locked her up in a tower, away from everybody, so she won't get pregnant. But Dani was really beautiful, and someone had interest in her. Can you guess who? Well, of course, Zeus. So Zeus wanted her, and he ended up getting her pregnant. She gave birth to a child and named him Perseus. When Archesius found out about Perseus, he was terrified. So he put the mother and her son in a chest and threw them in the sea, hoping they would drown and die. But luck again was not on his side, because the mother and the kid actually survived. And they ended up in an island where they were saved by a fisherman called Dictys. Dictys was really a nice man, and he took care of Dani and her son, Perseus. Dictys actually had a brother who was actually the king of that island, Polydectes. Polydectes was not nice as his brother. He was actually the opposite. Years went on and Perseus grew old, and one day Polydectes, the king, decided he wanted to marry Dani. Perseus is old enough to know that Polydectes is not the right man for his mom, and he refused. I believe that his mother shared the same opinion as her son. So now the king is furious. How dare he? How dare he become an obstacle in my way? So he thought of a way to get rid of him is by shaming him. So Polydectes came up with this plan, saying like, okay, I'm not marrying your mother, but I'm getting married anyway, and you're all invited for my wedding. But I only want gifts as horses as a wedding gift. Interesting choice for wedding gifts, if you ask me. So Perseus doesn't have horses, and it would be a shame to attend with him without giving the bride and the king a gift. So he went to Polydectes saying, I can't really gift you anything of like horses in your wedding, but I can give you anything else if you ask for it. So Polydectes was like, now I got what I wanted. He told Perseus, now you bring me the head of the Gorgon Medusa. This was not an easy task, like go bake me some cookies or fetch apples. Medusa had a reputation. Everybody knew her story. Everybody knew her powers. So he asked for help, and he asked from Athena. So Athena shouldn't have helped him, but the audacity, she did help him. Not only was she responsible for the state that Medusa is in, but she also accepted to help her killer. So she gave him her bronze shield, helped him to find where she was staying. Not only that, Hermes himself gave him his sandals so he can fly with them and travel faster. Hades gave him his helmet of darkness that makes him invisible. Atlas showed him the way. Even Zeus himself gave him a sword. So you can say that Hermes was well equipped. He went to his journey, and just as he got to the cave, he was surprised to find a countless amount of stone figures. Those were just the people who happens to pass by the cave and accidentally made eye contact with Medusa. So he was terrified by the sight. An interesting choice for a decoration for entrance. He went there, but he was lucky enough. Medusa was asleep. So he used the shield as a mirror so he can get close to her as possible, as he could, and he slayed her, cut her head. The moment he cut her head, two things flew away from Medusa, because she was actually pregnant. Her kids was one human-like, and the most importantly is Pegasus, the horse with the wings, the mythical creature we all heard of. So now Perseus used the bag given by him by the nymphs and put the head in it and go back to his journey. Goes back to his tribe. At some point he stopped in White Kingdom and helped them kill a sea monster and marry his wife. He continues back to the island where Polydectes was surprised to see Perseus actually made it, and he couldn't believe it was Medusa's head inside the bag. So, to prove him, Perseus whipped the head of Medusa from the bag, and Polydectes turned to granite. And after that, Dictys married Danae, and they lived happily ever after. And if you're wondering if Acrisius actually died, if the prophecy came true, let me tell you, in Greek mythology, the oracle is never wrong, and she never lies. So yes, indirectly, Perseus ended up killing his grandfather without really knowing it was him. This was the story of Medusa. But you're surprised. We have been told the story wrong for years. I hope you understand her story now better, to know that actually she was wronged and a victim, but she was punished for the mistakes for the other. I hope you like this today episode. Let me comment below what you think about this story. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram on Let's Get High on Myth. I'll be publishing a lot of artwork and additional information, and there is memes also. Don't forget to follow the Shell School and Algerian Black Pearl social media on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Thank you all for watching or listening, and see you next time. Take care, everyone.